Well, what's going on, BNG? Here's Who's Your Daddy here, making this semi-for fans only video. I'd like to break down and talk a little bit about what's going on with our team and maybe get a dialogue with you guys. Right away, you can see on this video we got Hightower breaking off a big one. Hightower and Halou ran. They really surprised me in this game. First and foremost, I think Mike Shanahan's kind of showing the effectiveness of the zone blocking scheme on the offensive line. Our offensive line did have a couple of struggles in the first half, but none of it was clutch or none of it really destroyed our effectiveness. We didn't even have to punt one time in the first half, which is a big deal for us. You know what I mean? 4 scoring drives in a row doesn't happen very often. Hopefully we'll be able to do that against Baltimore, but score a couple more touchdowns, which I think is going to be our biggest problem this year, is scoring touchdowns, and that's just because our quarterback's situation here. I think we might have receivers that would be capable enough in the red zone to score points, but I'm not sure if we're going to have a quarterback with a skill, which brings up another point as far as quarterback, because I think that's why they might have chosen John Beck, just because of his running abilities. Because he ain't scared to break off and run for a 10 or 15 yard grab. Hell, he ran more than Joseph Adai did when they played against the Colts, man. It will be nice to have a quarterback that can break out and run too. It's just unfortunate that John Beck doesn't seem to have the deep ball, and I think our big play possibilities are going to be severely limited this year. But again, that's all yet to be seen. We've shown that we can be productive, between the 20s. I'm just hoping that we can turn this around in the next few games and start actually breaking in the end zone, putting some big points up on the board. I'll tell you what, this run here where Halou breaks off this big one along the sidelines, man, it made me happy as hell that he's number 26, and I figure now I got something I can do with my Portis jersey, man. Yeah, so our running backs, I think we're looking pretty damn solid there. Our O-line looks like they're helping them run out. Our receivers, that's kind of I don't know, man. They've looked pretty good in small yardage situations, and even in a couple of big yard situations with Grossman and with Beck. But I'm really just not ready to call it one way or the other yet. I thought Mike Sellers looked pretty good out there as a tight end. He broke off 2 for 14 yards apiece, I think. I think he was our second most effective receiver against the Colts. Terrence Austin and Niles Paul picked up the slack on punt returns, and man, I tell you what, our special teams, it's set up this way. I think you can kind of plug in fast guys and special things happen. Without Brandon Banks, things were still pretty doggone explosive on special teams. So I'm really excited to see how good that's going to do this year. Anyway, that was a great game. I loved watching that. Beating the Colts. They definitely made up for last year. I can't wait till this next game. Speaking of which, here it comes. The Ravens. Now, this is our first non-setup game because we always play the Ravens in the preseason. Like, the first 2 were supposed to be us playing 2 giant AFC teams that crush us. And this is the first game that we're kind of used to. We play it every year. I think if you guys watch this game, they weren't very effective in 3 quarters of football. The Ravens weren't. And finally, in the third quarter, or the fourth quarter, they scored a bunch of points and trounced the Chiefs. So it kind of all broke down and got ugly at the end. However, throughout the game, the Ravens did break off a couple of big plays. We're going to have to be able to stop that. Hopefully our secondary will be able to pick up slack. That is, if Arakpo and Kerrigan aren't already smashing Flacco if he's out there playing. I'm not going to say these guys are going to be easy, because usually this is a really tough game for us. And I don't really expect it to be a trouncing, but I don't expect us to lose against Baltimore next week. Anyway, guys, appreciate your feedback. You take care. Hail to the Redskins and go BNG.